The stench of the Thames lingered long after the summer of 1858. Though Parliament had draped its windows with lime-soaked curtains and fled the suffocating odor, the crisis had carved something permanent into London's history. This was not merely a season of discomfort, it was a confrontation with mortality itself and a turning point for public health. The Great Stink did not kill as instantly as cholera, nor terrify with the same violence as plague, but it infected the very psyche of a city that believed itself the capital of the modern world. London, the empire's shining jewel, had been brought to its knees by its own excrement. The world saw not grandeur, but decay. As Parliament debated frantically, voices rose not in whispers but in outrage. Newspapers mocked the government for tolerating filth at the very doorsteps of power. Satirical cartoons depicted ministers holding their noses, gagging at invisible waves of stench. The people demanded more than excuses, they demanded salvation. And from this pressure rose an unlikely hero, Joseph Bazalgette, chief engineer of the Metropolitan Board of Works. His plan was bold, almost unthinkable, an underground labyrinth of sewers that would stretch across the metropolis, intercepting waste before it could ever reach the Thames. Bazalgette's vision was not only vast, but revolutionary. Massive brick tunnels, wide enough for a carriage to pass, hidden beneath the city's surface, carrying death away from the heart of London. It was a project of staggering cost and ambition, yet one that Parliament, its own dignity assaulted by the stink, could no longer ignore. But progress was not immediate. The summer heat receded, the smell weakened, and with it, political urgency began to wane. For centuries, London had endured disease and death with grim acceptance. Why should this be different? The answer came in the bodies. Cholera struck again. Families buried children. Streets echoed with grief. The public could no longer pretend the Thames was merely a nuisance, it was a graveyard in disguise. Each outbreak reminded the city of the terror of water that could kill unseen. John Snow's ghost hovered over every glass of water, every bucket drawn from the pumps. His discovery, once ridiculed, was now undeniable. The river was not life, but poison. By the mid-1860s, construction of Bazalgette's great sewers was underway. Thousands of men dug through mud, brick by brick, to create an artery system beneath London. It was brutal, dangerous work, an unseen war against death itself. Yet slowly, the tunnels grew. When the system was completed, it was not only an engineering marvel, but a triumph of survival. For the first time in centuries, London had defied its own filth. Cholera, once a seasonal terror, began to vanish. The Thames, though never pure, no longer carried the city's excrement openly through its veins. Still, the memory of the Great Stink never disappeared. It lingered in stories, in whispered warnings, in the invisible fear of water. It became a reminder of how fragile civilization truly was, how easily grandeur could collapse into rot, and it left behind a lesson written in both stone and sewage, that progress is often born not from glory, but from disgust. London had faced a river of death and emerged scarred, but transformed. Out of filth came innovation. Out of despair came resilience. The Great Stink of 1858 was not merely an episode of foul air. It was a reckoning, a reminder that empires can drown not in blood, but in their own waste, and that sometimes history stinks literally.